I'm going to start in 3, 2, 1. Before jump to my case, two quick rebuttals towards OG. Number one, they're concerned about people can have a healthy problems with the existence of meat as food and so on and so forth, right? We believe that it's relying on people's choice that on what they want to eat, why they want to eat that, for example, and so on and so forth, right? We believe that there's like not government responsibility to interfere on this kind of thing because why? Like, number one, we believe people already rational enough to weighing that over meat is already like dangerous for yourself, for example, and so on and so forth. But also, like, secondly, we believe that the lots of the desire of people that they don't always want to be healthy, for example, they already like aware for the effect of the meat it has, for example, but still they're eating it because it can make them happy, for example, and so on and so forth. Therefore, those kind of health problems still be exist anyway in their side of the house because people have those kind of things, right? But also, even if like people opting in towards eating meat and so on and so forth, we think that people already can able to consider the impact for themselves at the end of the day. But also, like, secondly, they're also like talking about the environmental problems and so on and so forth. Number one, we believe that those kind of things still exist anyway because like lots of factory are uh, are having participations on those kind of things, right? For example, we have a salt and alcohol factory, for example, that also produce this kind of pollution at the end of the day. Therefore, if you banning meat, you need to banning these kind of things also, right? But furthermore, we believe that it's even like worsen in their side of the house because like the fact that drugs is already dangerous, then not all people addicted to it. There's still like lots of people can access to it even if like we already banning it, right? So comparative, so by you banning those kind of meat, those kind of desire of people and meat is always still in demand at the end of the day. You cannot assume just like once you banning the meat, then people are becoming vegan at the end of the day, right? Therefore, further rebuttal is going to be intertwined towards my speech. What we want in OO is pretty simple. Number one, we want a liberation of freedoms of the human will at the end of the day because we believe that government have no right to interfere to such things. But secondly, we want to keep things as it is. We want to keep life still goes on at the end of the day. So how in our side we want to mechanize our proposal? So in our side, we're rather than banning production of meat, we're going to create a regulation on how you should slaughter the animals, for example, at the end of the day, right? Because as a concern about how the animal being hurt, animal is sick, and so on and so forth, right? If but also secondly, we believe that if like it is definitely better because like we're not changing the company itself, ladies and gentlemen, because like we believe that all of the things that relies on meat is not necessarily only based on people necessitate on eating, for example, but also like, it's also intertwining towards religions and culture that you cannot change simply, right? So because of that, we believe that our proposals can work better. But also secondly, if like the company, for example, cannot want to comply at the end of the day, we can like make them we can give them fine, for example, or even do furthermore punishment. Okay, I'm going to talk about two things. Number one, why in morality, why it is okay, but also secondly, how in our side of the house we can create a better lobbying. So firstly, let's talk in morality, right? Number one, in OG say that we harming the animal right. We're not giving them choices. But firstly, we say animals have their own purposes, ladies and gentlemen. Like we have pet, like cat and dogs and so on and so forth. It exists because we want to raise them as our kids, for example, right? But also like there's animal like living in a wild zone, for example, and lions, so on and so forth. Then we're not we're not going to disturb them anyway at the end of the day, right? But also like there's animal exist as the form of resources, right? They exist because to help the animals, the humans at the end of the day, right? Or so we say that we're only harming these certain types of animal like cows, like chickens, for example, at the end of the day, and not banning all the animals itself, right? But also, secondly, we believe that we, as human, we are like responsible because we are have consciousness. We also not ensure that they not turn extinct, right? We treat them better. We give them food. We give them shelter. We still let them breed. We even like give like the happy memories for them at the end of the day, even if we want to eat them at the end of the day, right? But then secondly, talking about pain, government's very keen talking about like this animal have pain and we know how it feels like, how hurt it is, for example, right? Well, the slaughterhouse that we have right now is already progressive, right? We kill them with minimum pain, even like no pain, like when you want to eat chicken, for example, you kill them like instantly die, and the slaughterhouse already aware for this kind of things too, right? So, and but also like thirdly, the OG say that how did animal then have choices as well so forth. So, but also the question on their side is that how important is animal choices is, right? If we respect them, does they will respect us too? For example, like at the end of the day, like animals like shark and lions, for example, the wild animals, like they will like eating, they will like have possibility for eating us also at the end of the day, right? So therefore, those kind of choices is not necessarily tangible in OG at the end of the day, right? But also fourth here, we believe that human freedoms and will for food is should be protected among these sacrifices, among the suffering of animal, right? Why is it so? Because like human definitely have a lot of trust in this animal, right? While as animals, they only think about their suffering. They only like eat, they only pee, they only breathe, for example, so on and so forth. But comparatively us, we think a lot of things about this world. Like we think about this capitalistic structure, we think about our job, we think about our family, we think about our education, and so on and so forth, right? So we believe that it is justified for us to sacrifice these animal sufferings at the end of the day. But also more secondly, we believe that it is principally justified because like food itself is not merely about what you eat for you to ensure you're alive the next day, right? But it's also a stay as your entertainment, for example, as your escapism, for example, and so on and so forth. Delicious food itself is definitely important, and we have no right to banning it at the end of the day, right? And also, lastly, talking about religion and culture, we believe that it's hard to change, unlike what OG say we can adapt, because like religion and culture is something that already becoming people's identity, uniting people. It's hard for you to change, right? For example, in culture, in religions, for example, when you do kurban, therefore it's impossible for you to adapt that you don't do kurban anymore, right? But also moreover, it's hard, it's even harder, it is even further in OG because they will criminalize a lot of people by doing so, right? But moreover, it will be worse because you cannot ensure that you can ban all of these things, because underground activity at the end of the day will be exist in their side of the house, right? We believe that those kind of things even more harmful because like they will find the back door of everything in which the way that they get it is not in the nice way anymore, for example, and we cannot bind those kind of demand at the end of the day. And lastly, talking about lobbying, for example, right? We believe that the adaptation is far better on our side of the house. We're not forcing people. We still like make life goes on at the end of the day, right? Comparatively in government side of the house, company and lots of life will change, lots of PHK will happen at the end of the day. Therefore, we're proudly opposed. Thank you.